All right, folks, this is it. 2023, the year I finally give up on PC gaming. That's right, no more PC gaming for me. PC Master Race, we salute you. Lower the flag, we're done. Okay, I'm being a little overdramatic. I'm not actually going to be done with PC gaming, but I have been gaming on PC primarily for about, 15 years and playing on PC most of my life. And I feel like it's just reached a point where it's hard to justify anymore. Let's talk about why, and also why I like PC gaming and why I'm starting to deviate further away from it. In the last year or so, it seems like every big budget game that comes out is just racked with issues. And the biggest issue that we keep seeing over and over and over is the stuttering. And I know there's going to be tons of YouTube comments popping up telling me all the reasons why PC gaming is terrible or why it's great and why I just need to update my drivers. And I'll get to that stuff, but it just seems like every game that has come out in recent memory has just been plagued with issues at launch. Everything from Elden Ring to Hogwarts to Dead Space and Midnight Suns and even Modern Warfare 2. The Final Fantasy VII Remake was totally botched as well at the beginning. And it's just reaching a point where is it any longer viable to play these games on PC when you know you're someone who's excited for games, you want to play day one, but when these games are coming out on PC as lesser versions of the product that you're paying the same amount of money for generally, is it still worth it? I play PC games because PC is generally a better experience. You have better performance if you've got the rig to support it, and you've also just got the mouse and keyboard, which I know many people prefer controller, many people prefer mouse and keyboard. It's all about decisions, and when it comes to performance on a computer, a decision also has to be made about whether or not it's worth it to go through the extra trouble of tinkering and getting the game working correctly in order to have the experience that you prefer. For me, it always has been worth that. Like I said, I've been playing on PC predominantly for over a decade, and it's just gotten more and more complicated over the years. Sure, you always have to go in and adjust something. You got an updated driver. You've got to fix something that's malfunctioning in your computer one way or another. You've got to close launcher so that your game doesn't freeze up. But it's just reached a point where I can no longer in good conscience recommend buying a game on PC at launch and expecting a worthwhile experience. And keep in mind, some people like tinkering. I'm someone who likes tinkering around with things and getting them to work and making things perform better and getting the maximum amount of frames I can out of something. But it's gotten to the point where I'm not even doing that as much as I'm just making sure I can get the game to run properly on my computer. And this is potentially just a problem with my computer sometimes, but not all the time. There are countless articles written about poor PC performance on these new games, and there are articles about how there are new mods coming to make it so that stuttering disappears. That's not even people who are making the game are making it not stutter. It's people in the communities who are making mods to install to make these games have less issues than the manufacturer of the games do themselves. And I can forgive a small budget indie game for having some performance issues on PC or on consoles, either way. We're talking about giant companies here. We're talking about EA and 2K and Activision. Like, these are billion-dollar companies. These aren't companies that should be having problems getting their games to be able to run correctly on the finest hardware available. And that's another point I see brought up a lot. You just need to install the latest software, update your drivers. I'm doing all that. Like, there's cases, and maybe that would be a good argument, but there are cases of drivers being updated and actually breaking the game further, making the game even more unplayable than it was before you updated your software. And I understand computers have many moving parts. There are many variables in everybody's computer. There are probably very few computers that are exactly the same as another one, especially when you get into higher end gaming rigs. And so I understand there are going to be some issues with getting the performance to work exactly the same on every computer. Just like if every PS5 had a different controller, it would be pretty hard to map the controls correctly. If every Xbox Series X had a different GPU in it, you'd have to make a bunch of different versions for all those different GPUs. I get it. There are issues in that regard, but this seems to be an across-the-board problem. It doesn't seem to matter what hardware you're using, though. Even the brand new graphics cards and processors and everything are still experiencing these issues with PC gaming. And that has always been a little bit of an issue, but it has just become so gigantic and apparent in the last couple of years that I just think it's unacceptable for these companies to be putting out brand new games on the highest tier platform, I guess you could say, and still having this many issues. Every time I boot up a game, I don't want to have to reinstall my shaders or go in and close the launcher out. That's actually been a big issue, is that a lot of games are not running correctly because they run in a separate launcher than, Steam or Epic Games Store. And they're running in a separate launcher, and that launcher is hogging up too much of the resources that the computer has. And that alone is just a big enough issue to make me say, throw away all the other launchers. I'm not one of these guys that has a problem with where I play the games. If it's on Epic Games Store, I'll play it there. If it's only on Steam, I'll play it there. If it's on some third party, whatever, I don't care. It's just a different click of the button for me. And I know that's a contentious issue. I don't really want to get into that in this video. But the fact that so many of these launchers themselves are causing the issues a lot of times is completely unacceptable. If you're going to create a new launcher for a game that you're putting out, or for the company that you represent, and you want the games to perform well on PC, then just make the launcher work or don't use it. It's that simple to me. I can also see the comments rolling in already. Yeah, just leave PC, bro. The console versions are better. They run crispy. And you know what? That's probably true. Now, granted, most of the time you're not playing with mouse and keyboard, which is the primary reason I prefer gaming on a computer, is because I like the feel of a mouse and keyboard better. I can play games on console for sure and use a controller, and sometimes I'll even use a controller on my PC as well. But that's just not my preferred way of doing it. And some console games are starting now to support more mouse and keyboard, and there's a decision to be made there, a kind of a personal decision on whether you want to play as a controller player in competitive games against people who are using mouse and keyboard and vice versa. But the point is, I want to be able to decide what peripheral I want to use and have the best experience possible there. By the way, in case you didn't figure it out, all these YouTube comments that I just made them up. This video's not out yet. People haven't responded. Just thought I would clear that up for you. And so I've mostly been talking about stuttering and performance issues in general and FPS. And, I know people are going to have different levels of how much they can tolerate those things. But the one thing that was really bothersome to me is that Modern Warfare 2, a game that is made by Activision, one of the largest gaming companies in the entire world, came out last fall. And on PC, if you wanted to play with more than a friend or two, your game was going to crash. And this wasn't just a problem that happened for a little while. This was months. And they rolled out drivers to fix the issue, and they rolled out updates to help the issue. And I spent all sorts of time tinkering with the game and trying to make it run better, adjusting the settings down to the lowest they possibly could go just to see if it maybe was pushing my system too hard. And it just came down to, no, the game is broken on PC. It's just going to crash. That's just what's going to happen, because this game was not optimized well enough to be able to run on this many different systems. And so I'm not afraid to say that I have no idea what the solution for this is. I'm not a programmer. I don't make games. That's not my job. My job is to buy the games and play them. That's not really my job, but you get the point. But for me, it's just gone past the point of excusability to put out broken games on a system and expect people to still want to play them there and buy them on the next one. There's also people who are going to comment and be like, well, just wait until it's fixed. Like, they'll put out a new update, it'll get fixed soon. And you know what? That's probably true. Maybe I should have a little more patience. But sometimes I don't have that availability. I've got to be on a spoiler cast, or maybe I get an early review code or something like that. I need to be able to play the game when it launches. And if you're putting out a game now, but it's not going to work, then it shouldn't matter if I need to have more patience or not. I want to be able to play the games when they come out, or when I get around to it. There are so many people who just insist on, well, it'd be fine if you just waited until the game was fixed. And yes, that's true. But you know what? I would also be fine waiting until the game got fixed for it to release at all. Contrary to popular belief, we don't need these games to come out at a specific time. When a game releases, I will play it. When a company announces their release date, they go gold with the game and they put the game out. It should be ready to go. I shouldn't have to be dealing with going on message boards and looking on Reddit and messing around with the system settings in my computer for hours before I'm able to get the game to run at a steady frame rate. I'm not even asking for 120 frames or something all the time. Give me 60, I prefer that. But I just want the game to run consistently and run well and not crash on me and not kick me out constantly. So yes, I will probably still be gaming on PC. And yes, I'm an idiot. I probably still will be buying these games mostly on day one. That's when I want to play games. I want to be part of the conversation. And maybe I'm part of the problem that I'm still buying these games when they release. I get it. I understand all the reasons that's stupid. But the point is, I'm a customer. I'm paying them for a product they were supposed to perfect and put out to the public. And to have months and sometimes years of issues with games that are being put out on some of the highest platforms in the world, some of the best running platforms are having issues running these games steadily. It's just completely unacceptable to me. What about you? Are you experiencing issues running new games on your PC? Are you having problems? This is not just a me problem. I see these articles all over the place. I see Twitter full of people talking about stuttering issues and all sorts of other performance issues on PC gaming. It is a growing trend and it's concerning. So let me know, what kind of problems have you been having? We're not doing tech support or anything in the comments. I know all the steps to do. I know all the ways to go. I just want to hear, am I crazy or is this becoming a bigger issue than it ever has been in the past? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.